I'm your host, Erin Groves, and this is where your positivity journey starts. Welcome to the Pop Podcast. Hey, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Pop Podcast. It is just me today. I am not in my usual studio, as you can see if you are watching on YouTube. It is just me today, which I'm super excited about. I did notice that when I go into a studio and I'm talking to someone, I feel like I'm so much more energized, and not that I don't have energy right now, but it's just a different going into the studio, seeing someone, having that interaction versus just talking to your computer at home. So I just kind of had that thought while I was getting on here to record, but I am so excited. Another week, and it's Halloween week. I know there's a lot of people who went to parties last weekend. I have a few coming up this weekend, which I'm super excited about. I'm not usually the biggest Halloween person. I always dress up, but I'm not someone that gets super into it. If I have friends that want to dress up, I'll do it, but I'm usually a Thursday or Friday night trying to figure out an outfit for a party on Saturday. So I hope everyone is gearing up for a fun and safe weekend, which I'll talk about and spoil my costume, which I'm actually excited about for this year. I think that's why I'm so excited. My friend and I came up with a really good costume. So anyways, I have had a busy last few weeks. I feel like it's just been go. Ever since Mike was in town a few weeks ago, I feel like there's been so much that has happened in my life, a lot of it in work and just things that I'm doing for the podcast, which is why I wanted to do a solo episode today. So I'm going to kind of give you a podcast and branding update, and then we'll spend the second half talking about Halloween and all the fun stuff that's to come this week. So to kick it off, some of you who are following me on the podcast Instagram page, which you are not, go follow. It is now at Pop with Erin. So to kind of elaborate on where this podcast is going and branding and all that type of stuff, if you know me personally, my friends that are listening are probably crying laughing because they know that the idea of a brand and coming up with colors does not register in my brain. Talking, got it. Interviewing, done. Coming up with a color scheme, Google can't even help me at this point. I mean, seriously, your girl needs some help. And so kind of where this all started is it's almost been a year since I launched, and I've always been huge on feedback. And recently I've been doing a course, a podcast accelerator course with Almost 30. If you guys out there and listen to them, they are awesome. And it was just my way to really learn and grow because I want to take this to the next level. And there's a point in time, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there where you really have to invest in yourself and where you're going. And it might not, financially make sense, or sometimes there's hesitation around it. But for me, it was just a gut decision that I was like, you know what, if I really want this thing to take off and go somewhere, I need to invest and take feedback and produce from that and listen to it. So I have been doing that for the past few weeks, and I still have a few weeks left. But the biggest piece of feedback that they gave me, which was kind of a no-brainer, was my social media. Again, if you know me, the color scheme, the whole social media thing is just not where I excel, and I'll be the first one to admit it. It's just not the part of my brain that works. I feel like I'm more on the podcasting, the bigger vision, but the whole creative side that my dad was an art teacher. So you think I'd have some of it in me? Nope, that gene was not. It's not in my DNA. So anyways, that was a side tangent. So they gave me really good feedback, and it really got me thinking of okay, there's a lot of tangible things that I need to do, and where do I want to take this podcast? I launched it with the idea of pop, which I absolutely love. It reminds me of my mom, who, another side tangent, hopefully is going to get fixed this week, which is something that I'm super excited about. She is going to get surgery, which definitely been praying for. So hopefully this week brings my family some clarity. And so she was the idea behind the whole podcast and behind the whole brand. And it started off with power of positivity. It fits me. It fits my personality. And I was like, how can I take that a step further to encompass really my mission and what I set out to do when I launched this podcast? And that was to give a voice to somewhat ordinary people not ordinary in a condescending way, that have done and created extraordinary things. And I'm sure you've seen from the last few guests that I've had on the accomplishments that they've had, the authenticity that they have, and just their willingness to help and talk about what they've done, so that you on the other line listening to this can really find tangible tips and relate to them. I think that's one thing that I've noticed with a lot of podcasts as they get bigger, is they become not as relatable. I feel like they lose touch with the majority of people out there, and that's something that I really truly never want to lose with this podcast. And so I thought, why not go after all the ordinary people in my life who to me have been extraordinary? They have said things that have changed my perspective on life. I've met people like Mike, who has been a mentor, and I truly would not be who I am today without him. So it's just, that's what I want to bring to each and every one of you. So it got me really thinking of like, positivity is, it's the heart of it all. When you start thinking positive internally, that shows externally. But how can I take that a step further? And through lots of meditation and journaling, I was like, why don't I come up with 3 words that I think describe this podcast, describe the people, and describe how I want each of you to feel when you leave? And so over the next coming weeks, you'll see a rebranding, especially on my social media. The content's going to stay the exact same because that's what I'm most passionate about. And that's what I have been excelling at, is really delivering you guys and providing value through the podcast. So I just wanted to take it a step further. And so I changed the Instagram handle to Pop with Erin, and I have rebranded Pop to stand for passion, optimism, and positivity. And I chose those three words is because I wanted to really showcase, like, how do I want you guys to feel on the other end? I'm a very passionate person, which I'm sure you have caught on to through the episodes. I tend to talk faster the more passionate I am. I want you to feel optimistic and inspired as well. And optimistic in the sense that there's so much out there that you just haven't tapped into, or maybe it's just because you don't know. I think this platform is a great way to learn about a million different things. And as almost every guest has said, it only takes one. It's going to take one episode that you connect with, one person. Hopefully, I can connect you with that person that inspires you. Whatever it is, I want you to feel optimistic about your future. And then the third is positivity, obviously, just because I truly believe, and my mom has taught me this, is that when you think positive, and my dad encompasses this to a T, good things will happen to you. When you continue to focus on the good keeps getting better. And so those are the 3 words that I changed Pop to stand for. So the new Instagram handle is at Pop with Erin. It's still the same page if you've already been following it, but I'm sure some of you noticed the handle change. So I wanted to describe that. And also just to assure that the content is still going to stay the same. I still love interviewing guests. That's one of my favorite things to do. I love learning. I love being curious about what they have to offer, where they've been. How can you learn from their mistakes? That's something that I do all the time. And I absolutely love to just listen to a conversation and be like, oh my gosh, I almost did that thing, but I didn't. Or I have done that and I saw the same result. So I just find it super inspiring, and I'm going to continue with all of the guests because I know I've gotten really good feedback on that. So that kind of wraps up the whole quote unquote rebranding, which I'm super excited about. It's still going to be the same old me. I'm going to have to step out of my comfort zone and get on Instagram more, which some of you have probably noticed. I don't know. It's just not, I think it's not that it's not my personality. I think there's parts of it that I enjoy, but sometimes it's hard for me to like pick up my phone if I'm like saying something funny or like being an idiot with my friends. I feel like me picking up my phone almost kind of cancels it out, but it's a mental block. I'll get over it. So yeah, that is what is next for the podcast. It's crazy that I'm 20 episodes in, a little over 20. And there's still so much more to come. I'm super excited for what the next year or so has to offer. And as always, if you guys have any guests that you are family friends with or whatever it is, please send them my way. I love interacting with all of you. I love when I get DMs on Instagram or text messages that just remind me of my why and why I keep doing this. So please, please, please reach out to me. I do not bite. I encourage you to connect with me. So that's the first part. And then the second is let's talk Halloween. So I know there's a lot of people out there who probably are like, Erin, you sound so lame saying that Halloween's not your favorite holiday. It's not that I don't enjoy it. It's just that I'm not the biggest planner in that sense of my life. I feel like with my friends, I just kind of go with the flow. If you want me to go somewhere, I'll go, but I don't know. I'm just not the biggest planner. So, but this year, which if you're listening to this and you've gone and followed my Instagram page, I am going to post my outfit tomorrow. And I want each of you to comment on what you are going to be for Halloween, or if you're doing a couple's costume or whatever it is. I feel like it's so fun to see what other people come up with, because each year I feel like the bar gets higher and higher and higher. The makeup is always so interesting. I mean, people really go all out. And my friend Hope, who was on one of the previous episodes, her and I are being Miranda and Lizzie from the Lizzie McGuire movie. So I am going to be Lizzie and she is going to be Miranda. And this is just a funny story of how naive I am when it comes to movies and TV shows, because I feel like all I watch is sports, so I don't really get into this type of stuff. I did watch the Lizzie McGuire movie with Paolo and Isabella and that whole drama. So I totally thought that that's what she was talking about. And so I was like, yes, I get to have the microphone and like the silky, sparkly outfit that she has. I was literally so excited. And then she told me that that was not the outfit. And now I am wearing a not matching outfit, which is kind of hard for me to put together because I'm like, again, my brain, the lack of creative when it comes to colors and outfits type of stuff is not comprehending why my outfit does not match, but that's okay. We digress. So that is what I am being for Halloween. I think we have a party on our Saturday for sure. I don't know about Friday yet, which will be super fun. So I hope everyone has a good week. I know this episode was short and sweet, which I will continue to do on the podcast. I love my interviews. I love my guests, but I also know that sometimes we don't always have the time to tune in for an hour and a half episode. So I want to sprinkle in some quick 15 to 30-minute episodes for each of you to listen to. As always, if you're on Apple, go rate, review, and subscribe. Spotify as well. And if you're watching me on YouTube, you are getting the first glance that YouTube ever has of me recording at home in my apartment as I sit on the ground. So thank you all for tuning in, and go Buckeyes. We got a big game this weekend. We won big yesterday, which was great. This weekend is going to be a test. So thank you all for tuning in. Have a good week. Have a safe weekend. And I'll be back next week with a special guest who I'm super excited about. Thanks, guys.